everyone. Welcome to the Wedding Honey podcast, the podcast where we chat about weddings with a little bit of sweetness, because we all know weddings can be stressful. We're here to lighten that up. Follow along if you'd like to hear journeys about wedding photography, wedding photographers, and of course, the wedding day. We're also going to be interviewing wedding specialists, and we can't wait for you to follow along. The Wedding Honey podcast is brought to you by Wedding Biz Kit, a photography business course created by Sounds Like Yellow Photography. After 4 years in university, knowing I wanted to start my own wedding photography business, I had no clue how to write a proper invoice or even professionally run my business. I dug deep and curated a brand that is creative just as much as it is professional. Now, 8 years in of running my own successful business, I am proud to say I have the course for you. Hey, welcome back, everyone, to the Wedding Honey podcast. This is actually really nice. We're sitting across from each other.
I know,
Usually
so
I sit next to. We are on episode 11, Lucky 11, and we are here with someone who just makes me want to cry. I'm going to cry this episode. I know it. She is like a real life superwoman goddess. You're like my real life Beyonce.
Well, right back at you.
No, seriously, you are. And I'm like very honored to just know you. So welcome, Britt of Anice Jewellery.
Thank you so much. I'm honored to be on this. This is amazing.
I'm so thrilled that you said yes to doing this. And you've already done one, so you probably are actually a pro. You're like, I've heard myself on this already. It's fine.
So weird listening to your own voice. You know?
It is. It really is. I think that's been the one thing that I'm like, you just got to get past it.
Yeah.
And it's so cool because other people are like, you don't sound weird, because that's what they're used to hearing.
Right. I know.
Right?
It's only us.
It's only us.
For sure.
We sound different. Anyways, we're here in Anice Jewellery on Ossington in Toronto, Ontario, and it's beautiful. As always. We're actually upstairs in your event space. Yes. It's called the Anice Apartment. Yes. And it's really calm up here. Yeah. I love that you just keep it this way all the time.
It's so important. I mean, we're buzzing and jeweling about all the time like crazy. So having a little bit of solitude has been such a gift.
Totally. Yeah. Totally. It's beautiful up here. There's candles, there's little twinkly lights. It's just Anice.
Thank you.
Just traveled upstairs. It's perfect.
A little bit of exposed bricks, some twinkles, call it a day, a little bit of lace.
Yes, it's all Anice, that's for sure. So well done on that.
Thank you.
So first, we will be chatting about proposals today, for anybody who wants to know right off the bat. And Britt is kind of a pro in proposals, I would think, just because of what you do. So can you tell us about Anice Jewellery and what it is you do here?
For sure. So we have a very mixed offering. I mean, when it comes to jewelry and when you open it up to custom jewelry, it really does just open it up to so much, more than I ever could have dreamed it to be when I first started this. And when it comes to wedding and proposals, we specialize in custom fine jewelry where we create wedding bands, we create engagement rings, and we work with our clients to bring their dreams to life. So that can happen in the way of like if people have an idea already when they come into the store, or if they don't have any idea but they want it to be really special and from the heart, then we work with them and have kind of tools to get their ideas out of them and like, you know, narrow kind of their focus. So
totally.
If a lovely gentleman comes in with absolutely zero idea and just is like, it's time, maybe we got to do it, it's time.
But want something special.
Yeah, but want something special. And that's really why they're coming to us,
totally.
Is because they don't want to just get something that anybody else could have. And no judgment on that, but I think it's really amazing to be able to say, okay, how do we make a solitaire diamond ring unique and one of a kind to my fiance, you know?
Yeah.
And that's a really beautiful challenge that we get to face with our clients, where it can be like adding little secret details into the band or a little tiny diamond on the side, or, you know, offering like putting, you know, your partner's birthstone in and you're carrying them with you all the time.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm sure you know just the sweetest things.
The sweetest things.
Yeah.
There's, talk about crying. I mean, I've had many a happy tear, many big hugs.
I bet.
It's such a gift. I have goosebumps talking about it. There's not a client or a day that goes by that I don't feel so honored that people come to us and trust us with their memories. And
Amazing.
we always say thank you for including us in your love story, because it is really just such,
it is
like, it's major. And when it comes to the custom as well, we are really big on what we call old treasures, new love. And that is incorporating if you have old material, so if you have your grandmother's diamond, or if you have your parents' wedding bands, or just like even a chain you got at your first communion, or whatever it is, like if you
literally anything,
anything that is gold, or I mean we can melt silver too, but if it's fine metal, then we can melt it and incorporate it into your bands. So we do that a lot. And then if you have any stones as well, we take those out, we can incorporate those too. And it's just so special because you get to carry that sentiment forward, and just
on like such a special day.
Yeah, it just brings
moment.
Yeah, it's already so special, but it's sort of like I get to also carry my grandma with me all the time in this ring. It's like it just totally brings it to the next level.
Yeah. So, and it's so special that you get to do that for these amazing wedding bands and rings, but you also do such a great job with just small pieces that are special just for a Tuesday afternoon. So I think that's where, I mean, I'm sure a lot of your clients come from maybe even just starting as, oh, I just came for a bracelet or a ring, and then they're hooked. I feel like once you're in, you're like on Anice and you're just hooked.
We're so fortunate to have built a loyal, not just following, but like our regulars, you know, like we've really, my favorite is around the holidays where I see like the same people every holiday, but not thoroughly throughout the year. Like it's just funny, they're clearly just coming for gifts, and
that's
like the same
best.
guys or the same dads or whatever.
Hello.
Not to put it just on men, but you know, it's it's pretty cool
That's
to
really
after this
special.
long have had that following. And it's actually in our engagement consultations when I am meeting with somebody and they, you know, I say, you know, how did you hear of this, or why are you here? To hear that they're here because their partner loves the store. Like a lot of them will say, well, I don't know, I'm just here because they love the store and I figured I had to come here. And it's like
they just say your name all the time.
Yeah, exactly. And like for me, I don't know, it's been 7 years and it doesn't, I don't know, I hope this never goes away, but it still surprises me. You know, it's still like, really? That's amazing. I can't believe that they're talking about us when they're not here. And like, what? It's really weird.
I think that is so amazing and so true, but I also think it speaks so much to your character, which is another reason why people just come in and just want to like soak up your goodness and your staff's goodness, because you've really done a great job of keeping this amazing, and I want to use the word vibe, but it's a feeling, it's almost like this presence that you're home when you get here. So really well done with that. And I think a lot of your clients who hopefully are listening can say, yes, she has.
Thank you.
And it's amazing. I can feel it right now.
Well, and it's so fitting that we are now residing in an old house for our store, right? I mean, because that was the goal right from the beginning. I really wanted people to feel home and to feel safe and to express themselves. I mean, jewelry for me is a form of expression, right? It's your personality. It's who you are. It's a pick-me-up on a bad day. It's a memory. It's you know, it's sad and it's happy. It's all of it, you know? And so to create a safe space was always the goal. And it's been a journey and it's been challenging and it's not always the most like positive vibe because we're learning and we're growing and we're changing.
Of course. Yeah.
But we are really more than ever so big on that. We actually have at the front of the store in our glass case a little frame that says, please take responsibility for the energy that you bring into this space. And that goes for me, special. That goes for you, that goes for my staff.
The mailman.
It's like, it's just kind of a little like, hey, you're coming into something special. We want to maintain this something special. And over the years, it's just, you know, through those ups and downs, it's become this sort of, it's like almost like our armor. Like, it's like, if I just put that out there and that's there, there's going to be still stress and there's going to be ups and downs, but at least we have a bit more of a fighting chance to keep it really, really good and really
real.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Thank you.
So when going back to the engagement and wedding band kind of process, so I've been lucky enough to experience that. My husband and I kind of went through that. Mike also, sweetheart, reached out to Britt and did the sweetest
planning.
I can't even think about it or I'll cry. So I'm sure you've seen a lot of that. And that's such a blessing. But what is that process for you?
In terms of going through,
like the engagement ring planning, or if it's a secret or not a secret, and then the wedding band.
For sure.
Yeah.
So when it comes to engagement rings, we have many different kinds of situations. Like, last week I sat with someone who was one of those people that just had absolutely no idea where to start.
Wow.
And so in that kind of situation, that's cool. Like our consultations, I always say to my clients right off the bat that when I'm explaining our process, that this is just a casual hangout, if you will. It's me getting to know you. It's me understanding the importance of this piece for you. I mean, some people are like, just a simple band and that's all, and it's just going to represent our love, and that's it. Even when it comes to engagement ring, like no diamonds, no whatever.
Interesting.
I would say that our generation has such a different, like, it's so vast how people have different relationships with weddings in general, but
well said,
also with the rings. I mean, it doesn't have to be a $10,000 engagement ring anymore. I would say actually we do less of that, like a lot more alternative gemstones, a lot of different. I've made sterling silver rings. It's
cool.
And that's who we are too. We're like, come to us with. You don't have to do what you think you're supposed to do here. Right. You can do what is special to you. So. When I'm taking, that individual through the process, it's about looking at some photos together to start and to say, okay, so like, how does that make you feel? How does that big blinged out oval solitaire crazy, like, sparkly ring make you feel? And then having them be like, whoa, no, like totally not her, totally not her.
Yeah. And you can probably see it sometimes in that couple or person.
Absolutely. Right away. So I do that to narrow it down. And then I kind of do a little bit, I'm not like the most amazing at sketching, but I do a little bit of that with them. And we just kind of get like options down. So we'll do a couple different options. And then after that, usually about a half an hour consultation, then I'll send them an email with a recap of details and we go back and forth a little bit. And then we do renderings, computerized renderings, so you can see it.
So cool.
Yeah, so you can actually see the ring before it's made.
Are people like so blown away by the
the renderings are funny because they're also kind of like really bizarre looking, and they look a lot bigger than they are in real life. So I do find that I'm constantly having to be like, just take it with a grain of salt. Like those claws that look like they're going to attack you are definitely going to be delicate and dainty.
It's so funny, which is such a great thing to send people to be like, look at this visual.
And we didn't have that before. I mean, I'm working with some amazing metalsmiths that really just rock my world with what they're capable of. But
that's so funny.
Yeah, it's really amazing. So cool. So going through the engagement ring consultation looks like that. And we also have a lot of couples that now come together. So I love that. That's really fun. Yeah. I mean, I have actually a couple that are coming tomorrow to look at some lab grown diamonds and some moissanite stones.
Oh, cool.
So we also bring in many stones and different visuals to see in real life as well. Because
that's fantastic. Yeah. I'm sure people are like, I've maybe never seen that.
Totally. Well, and I think that's the fun in it too. It's like, how much do you really want to be involved? Because I'm happy to bring you right in. I even have one of my wedding band clients who wanted to, like he said, give my band a bit of a hammer texture, but I actually want to do the rest. And so he was going to like heat it up and he was going to throw it on the ground. And he was going to do, which is, it's amazing. So we were joking that he's like our new intern, and I think that's the beauty of going with a smaller boutique. Obviously I'm biased, but that you do get to say, I would love to see those stones, because how the heck are you supposed to know what the difference is between a lab grown diamond and
I would not even
diamond or like a moissanite or a sapphire, it's
most people don't know. And that's that extra mile that I think coming here is like, oh, okay, I get to experience all of that.
For sure. We love to educate our clients as much as we can, because it's an investment and it's your memories. So, huge. I will say, like, it's taken the 7 years to get to that point now where I can confidently say to you that that's part of my process and that's what I want to be part of my process. But I've only known that also by learning from my clients.
Amazing.
Over the years, so.
Wow, that's so special that you can actually, like, I don't know, it's so positive that you can look at your clients as like, okay, I'm learning from you too.
Oh, always. Yeah, for sure.
Amazing. I'm sure you've been a part of many secret or surprise proposals. How is it hard? Like, do you find you sometimes know their partner in that, or you're
gosh, yes,
keeping it quiet, or if you see them, you're like,
well, like when I would see you and I couldn't look you in the eyes. when I would know that I knew that your engagement ring was in the store and you were here,
gosh.
and I just had to be like, "What's up? What are you doing over here?
What are you looking for?"
Yeah, no, it's I think
cool.
I guess I've gotten better at it because
Totally. I would
would
never
just
know.
never ever ruin that for someone,
Oh gosh,
know? So
no. You're the
just
perfect
do it.
person to be like, no.
Oh gosh, I mean, we work in customer service, so you learn to perform a bit, but it is really hard. It is hard because it's so exciting, and I get so invested in each experience too. So, and if I know the people, like I just had a client of mine, a couple who we had been working on her engagement ring for about 6 months, like, you know, on and off. Like it started with sourcing vintage, and then it was going to be kind of similar to your ring where we changed the stone. So we had changed, like yours was a vintage ring, and then we put the morganite stone into it. And it was kind of similar with this one where we were inspired by a vintage design that we couldn't size down. So we made a ring that was really similar to it with our own little tweaks to it.
That's
with
really
a beautiful
cool.
garnet stone that was part of the vintage ring. So we took the stone out of the vintage ring and we put that into it. Anyways, when they came into the store, we had already made the ring, and then they showed up one day, and I was like just overjoyed to see them, but I didn't know if the proposal had happened, and I didn't know. He gave me no warning. So I just was like, how's it going? Just kind of trying to feel it out.
Totally.
And then it was clear that he had not told her because she was starting to talk to me about it, about wanting to design a ring. And then he's looking at me and like behind her, like, oh my gosh. Like, so he was not playing it cool at all.
Was he kind of like, what do I do?
It was so funny.
That's the
So I was
cutest
like, I
moment.
can't look you in the eyes because I am going to break too. Like, it was just like, it was hilarious.
It's like to be a fly on the wall in that moment.
Oh, for sure. We're both like, you know, like wide-eyed, like, you know, it was
deer in headlights.
Oh, for sure. Like,
No,
like
yes,
just
no.
play it cool. Come on. But it's so awesome because now they are engaged, and they did come back and see me afterwards, and I was able to tell her that story. And again, I have goosebumps telling it because it's just as like, I love that that's part of the story. You know, I love that we had that ridiculous moment.
And they probably tell that to so many of their friends, like, oh my gosh, it was done and I was in there.
It's so special. Yeah, it's just crazy.
And it's funny because, I mean, I'm sure this happens with a lot, but you'll see either a ring similar or you'll see a garnet and you'll be like, you'll think of them.
Oh, absolutely.
So
Oh my
cool.
gosh. And I remember, like, it's interesting. I mean, you deal with a lot of clients, you deal with a lot of visual things, but there's just like these things just always are in my mind. Like I'll always remember, and people say to me sometimes like, wow, how do you remember that? I had a customer come in yesterday that had bought a necklace when we first opened the Ossington location, and we were putting a similar chain onto a necklace for her, and I was like, oh, you have this chain actually with your quartz, whatever. And that was 5 years ago, and she was like, what?
My gosh.
How do you know? I'm like, just connect the person to the piece. It's just, I'm
so
visual, right?
interesting.
So, yeah, but it's also so special.
It's so
it's
cool.
like-
It's amazing that your mind can work like that.
It is crazy.
Because that's 5 years. Like, I can't imagine how many people have come in and bought similar pieces. So,
yeah, I think there's just something about the connection that we have. That's
Big
what
time.
Anice is built on, right?
Yeah.
So granted, I'm not present and here for every single connection that happens anymore, but the ones that I do experience, I really experience, you know? So,
oh
yeah.
my gosh. so special. And with the engagement rings, how long is that turnaround or like planning time in terms of process?
So it can be anywhere from 2 weeks. It could be a week. It could be, yeah. I mean, it really depends. I feel like the word on the street is that we are good at last minute. So lots of people love to come to us last minute. That being said, for for all of you lovers who are listening, I encourage you not to rush the process.
Agreed.
Because it can be a beautiful and exciting process. So I'm down to make it happen. You know,
Always.
I think there's
Britt
something
will come through.
yeah, like there's something so wonderful in like being able to make that happen. Cause I also get it that sometimes people are like, you wake up and you're like, okay, it's happening. I got to do it. And oh my gosh, 2 weeks from now is going to be the perfect time. So I'll say that we can rush it without compromisation. I have had bad experiences in the past. I won't lie that when we've tried to rush things for people, we've had problems. A stone has fallen out or whatever's happened.
Makes sense because when you rush things,
the quality might not be there, right?
Yep.
So at this point, what I can say as a disclaimer is that we will rush it within reason of design. So if it's going to be a lot of setting, if it's going to be a lot of like quite a bit of labor to do, I think it's just something that, you know, you as our clients definitely need to trust in your jeweler that we're going to do the best by you. And I think I was trying to just please people so much all the time before.
Yeah.
Now I've realized that the best that I can do by you is to tell you, yeah, I can make, like, realistically, I can make that happen, but this is the timeline and this is when you're going to get the best thing. So if it's a basic band, no problem. Like, I've had people with wedding bands decide to do like elope, you know, and they want to elope on Friday. And okay, well, you know, we have a lot of bands in the store to buy, but there's like basic bands are easy to turn around quickly.
Of course.
So I'll say that an engagement ring can take, let's say, like a healthy, nice amount of time is a month. It really also depends how much back and forth we're doing. So if you are that person that doesn't know at all what you want, expect that to be longer, unless we see something and you're like, boom, that's amazing.
That's it. Yeah.
And then I would say that it can take up to a year if you wanted to. Like, that's not like we're going to have an email thread of 150 emails back and forth because we're emailing every month in a year. It's like, if you have time, if you have the time and you want to think about it. And I have actually this great client that I'll be speaking with later today, who I was so loved. I had the best consult with him because he said, you know, I just really want this to be so special and I want to be part of the process for a long time. So he's going to propose in the fall or like early winter.
Amazing.
And he was like, I don't know if that's, you know, crazy that I'm here. And I'm like, absolutely not. Like, this is so cool. And we're not going to talk every day, but we're going to get the ball rolling and you're going to feel really sure. And
so cool.
Yeah. And enjoy the process.
I love that.
Yeah.
And it's cool that he can recognize that you guys are open to that as well.
Totally.
And he's like, yeah, they'll be on board with this.
Sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
You did kind of touch on it earlier, but nowadays I think, like you did say that weddings are kind of on a different trend, and rings I think are a big part of that. Now, in terms of like shopping for rings, you did say that you do have some couples come in.
Yes.
Is that more common, do you think, to have like the actual just both people in here looking for rings?
Yes, that's happening a lot more for the engagement rings. And it's so, honestly, it's so great. I think that when I was younger and started this process, I think I was of the mindset that, you know, I'm traditional, so I would still like to be surprised. And I'm not engaged. I should say that.
Yeah.
So I still don't know. I think that the surprise is lovely, but what I've loved working with my clients on is that the stress for the person proposing and not knowing the person's finger size, not knowing exactly what they want, that's a lot of pressure to put on someone, you know? And then I also have had lots of clients come in where they have been proposed to and they're coming in for a consult to change the ring.
Oh, yeah.
Because they don't like the ring.
I do hear that quite a bit.
So it's a huge investment. Then you're changing it. And then the poor person who's proposing, who's like put all this effort in and is now like, well, good thing I did that. Now we're going to change it.
Good thing I came here 14 times.
Yeah. So I think that, I mean, it's actually, I'm being totally honest, it's an easier process when both people are there.
Cool. Good to know.
Also for me, as the person who's facilitating the making of this piece, is to know the person that's going to be wearing it and get their vibe. Like you said, there's little tricks and tools that I have to really understand kind of what their styles are, and helps me be able to suggest the best details and different elements, really.
Yeah. Interesting.
You know, like if you have like a smaller hand and like I can tell that the person's not really wearing a lot of jewelry to begin with, or just really like simple stuff
or minimal.
I'm not going to be sending them designs of crown rings and different like crazy different asymmetrical designs, right? So I like that. I think it's a more enjoyable process for both people. And what we see a lot of is that the couple will come and do the consultation together, and it's really fun. We do like Prosecco and we have a nice little time together.
I love that.
And then I will just email the person proposing.
Amazing.
So it's sort of like we do that initial consult, and then there will still be that element of surprise. So
love that.
I see them be together all, like, you know, it's not a surprise. I mean, I think what's so special about where we are right now for this generation is that it's whatever works for you. You know, there's no judgment. I mean, clearly there's no judgment here, but I think in general we should all take that into mind, right? If you have been dreaming of your dream engagement ring for your whole life and you want to be surprised and you're going to drop that Pinterest board to your partner, go for it. You know, but if you also just want to come together, amazing.
I love it. I love that that's actually happening.
Yeah, it's happening
because it's one thing to be like, both people are getting involved, and it's like, well, it's nice to hear that people are coming in looking, because there's some people, like you said, who don't know at all what they want. So they need to see those. I mean, I remember coming in here being like, oh my gosh, I have no, like I always envision my hand, but I don't know what would be on it. So to try on rings and see things and be like, oh my goodness, I didn't think I'd actually like that. But it works. And like, just this is from personal experience. When I did go into a ring store in a mall, it was a very different feeling of, I don't really know what to relate it to, but it was not the same as what I felt trying on something in Anice. I don't know if it was I just resonate better with the jewels here, but I don't know. There's just something different out there. And like you said, to each their own. To each
their own, for sure. I mean, I actually often encourage, because we have some selection for samples to try on, but we don't have a huge collection to try on.
So much else, yes.
Yeah, so I really suggest to my clients that they go just for fun. It's like when you go and just like try on like joke wedding dresses.
Totally.
Like I always think of that episode of Friends where they're all in the dresses. And I think it's a really fun experience to do that if you're both going to be part of it.
Right.
And you know, go and just try things on. Go to Tiffany's. Go to Spence. Go to People's. Wherever you want to go.
Try them.
And hey, and I wouldn't judge you if you end up walking out with one, but you can see different things on your hand, and it's so. I say this to all my clients. It's almost more important to know what you don't like than what you do, because there's so much out there.
Right.
So that's where we start with narrowing it down, actually. And then I can start to send things that I think you're going to like.
Yeah.
You know, and because if I just have no idea, which to be honest, I have no idea what I would want for a ring because I've seen too much.
Yes. It's so true.
Know, so where do
and
you
I'm
start?
Sure everyone asks you that too. Like, what would you want?
Oh yeah. I honestly, I think the simplest band, because I just want to wear all the other jewelry all the time.
Of course. Yes. Just makes
so
sense.
I can't have like a showstopper, because then what would the rest of it do?
Exactly. Well said. Okay, good to know.
Yeah. I guess I'm putting that out there.
Yeah. It is like out.
It's live.
It's live out there now. Oh my gosh, that's amazing though. But you're so right. Like, just go try it on.
Yeah.
See what works and what doesn't.
Totally.
Speaking of kind of like what works, what doesn't, do you find there are trends in terms of like wedding band or engagement ring styles?
For sure. I would say that with wedding bands, I'm seeing a lot more of the classic bands coming back, especially for guys. Even in the last few years, I feel like we went through a big trend where there's a lot of tungsten and titanium bands happening. Like that was
everywhere.
Totally. And I think that they'll never go out of style. They're the like indestructible lowest price point. They're awesome. They're super easy and sleek. And I think for a lot of guys, it's hard because they don't wear jewelry, and so they don't really see why they'd want to spend $1,000 on a band.
Yeah.
Which sometimes in gold it can be upwards of that. So, but I'm seeing a lot of the classic yellow gold domed band come back, which I'm not surprised. I mean, you can't really go wrong with that. So
classic.
And it kind of isn't. It's the least flashy too on your hand usually.
Yeah.
But in terms of engagement rings, it's interesting. We go through lots of trends, just like we do in fashion. But there was a huge trend for rose gold for a while. Right. I think we're getting back to yellow gold for sure. I would say that we see in engagement rings a mix of yellow and white. I mean, white gold when we're using diamonds is more popular because that's just showcases the diamond usually better. Mm-hmm. And I'm seeing in women's wedding bands, the crowns for sure, depending on your engagement ring. Like if your engagement ring is set low, if the stone is set low, we need to do a fitted band.
Interesting.
So I feel like actually, I'm going to take that back. I saw that in the last 3 years. I would say this year, like because we're right in wedding season. It's console like crazy. I'm seeing a lot more people actually that are asking to have their engagement rings raised. So I think we're moving back into like, because we're in such a stacking ring trend, right? So we're stacking, like I'm stacking every finger right now.
You are,
right?
It's amazing.
But you want to be able to, and I can see the importance of that because maybe it's a nice way for us not to be attached to just one design forever. Right. Like if you wanted to, if you had you had a solitaire engagement ring, say, and then your wedding band, you do a half eternity. And then maybe you want to, as your, at your next anniversary, first anniversary, you want to have a rope band. Well, that can go right up against it. And then maybe you want to do another one that's just a plain band, but a bit thicker, like where you can wear some, like maybe all together, or you mix it up. Right. And it changes the look of your ring. So I'm definitely right now seeing that as a trend where there's much more of the stacking and just remaining open to the possibility of changing it a bit.
Or as you grow, it grows.
Exactly.
Yeah.
For sure.
And it's so funny, again, to go back to that traditional. I mean, we've all looked at like families' rings and you think, oh yeah, well mine's going to be this and this. Mm-hmm. But now, I mean, possibilities are endless.
So crazy. I mean,
it's amazing.
And there's so many different styles too, like the open torque rings that can go, around if you have a low setting, like I had a girl who had the most amazing engagement ring from her grandmother. It was truly so stunning. And I have some photos of it. I'll have to actually
send it to me. I'll put it on the YouTube.
I would love to, because it does show an alternative way to work with this. I think some people are like, maybe I just don't get a wedding band, because what's going to fit against this?
And you don't have to.
You don't have, and you definitely don't have to. You could get yourself a nice little necklace, or you could go on a trip.
Well said.
Whatever you want to do.
I love all of those ideas.
Whatever you want to do. But her ring is an open torque style ring, and if people don't know what that is, we'll definitely show the picture. But it's just open, and it sits on either side of her setting just perfectly. We did it to fit the ring exactly.
Perfect.
And have little diamonds just on the top of the torque, and it was like, magic. Like, it just looked like it completed the initial design. So talk about old treasures new love. That was like,
that nailed it. That's like perfect.
That was an exciting one to work on.
I would love to see that photo.
I will. I'll get it.
Oh my gosh, that sounds so beautiful. Yeah. And I love that people can do that. Like, like you said in the beginning, let's bring this in to Anice, and they'll do something with it. I don't know what they'll add to it, and I think that's such a cute charm that it adds to it, because you're adding to it as you wear it.
Yep. That's
my gosh.
Magic.
Amazing. Do you have a favorite engagement ring story or love story that you've been a part of?
Oh my gosh.
There's so many. I can't. That's such a tough question.
I mean, there are so many. Yours and Mike's is one of them for sure.
So sweet.
This one that I just did when they came in with the garnet.
The garnet. I love that story.
Sure.
I love that.
I've had, I don't, there's so many of them, but the ones that, I guess maybe, and not to like exclude the ones of the people that I don't know yet, but because we've now been at this for a while, and we've built this community, when I do see people come in that I've known their whole relationship, like I might have known them before they even started dating.
That's so
and they've
cool.
come in together and they've just started dating, and it's like I've known them from when they were sort of in that awkward lovey-dovey phase to now getting married.
Oh my gosh.
And getting engaged. Like, and again,
what a
here
perspective.
comes the goosebumps again. Like,
I know.
I think those stories are, I guess, probably the most meaningful to me personally, because like I said, I'm invested in every single client. But that is so wild for me now now. I mean, we've been around for longer, but I just can't believe that I get to see them go through it all. I
love that. Like, no one, maybe their family members get to see all of those, and not even all their family members get to see that beginning lovey-dovey phase.
Oh, for sure. I mean, some of the stories and the secrets that we've had, I mean, yeah, it's pretty crazy.
That's amazing.
And I think that also the stories of when people are like being secretive, like there's definitely been times too where I have friends of mine that I've become friends with them through the store, and he had her mom's wedding bands, and sadly her mom had passed when she was younger, and so he had these as her engagement ring, and he had come to me, and it was like he hadn't told anybody. He had told his sister, and he had told no one else, and he was just there to get them cleaned and made sure the prongs were all solid. We didn't change them at all. We just made sure that they were in good condition.
Smart.
And that was a big one. That was when I was still just in Kensington, so I was really even, still pretty new.
It was just you.
Yeah, and when he walked in the door, I could just tell his face, and I remember thinking, oh my gosh. Like, oh my gosh. Like, okay, I'm in this with you, man.
Yeah,
like,
we are united on this.
Yeah, and really that was, like I said earlier, I mean, it's such an honor, but I do just remember feeling like, wow, this is major.
Yeah.
Like, this is major that I am holding this very special information, and I'm a vault.
Yeah,
like, this is going nowhere. But when he was there, even dropping them off, he was like, she's here. She's in Kensington somewhere. So every time the door opened, we were like, is she here? And
oh, again, you like this necklace? Oh, talking about something else.
Like, oh my gosh. Yeah. So I know that's.
Special.
I mean, there's many stories I can tell.
We could literally talk for hours. I'm
for
sure.
But
it's so nice to hear that you have those memories. Like, it's unfortunate that you guys aren't here with me watching Britt, but literally, like, tears have filled her eyes and gone out. I've seen goosebumps. The smile is like giant. So we're having all the feels just talking about this. So it's really special, and I know that's one of the reasons that what drives you in this business,
for
and
sure.
which is one of my other questions: is what keeps you creative and growing. Just for Anice.
For Anice. I mean, well, Anice is my creative. This was my passion and my hobby. Now it's my career. So, so as much as I love to create other things, this is it.
You do create other beautiful things too.
So thank you. Yes. What drives me is connecting to people and making. And I have experienced, especially in this last year, I'll be totally honest, it's been a challenging time as we grow. And losing myself in the business side, because that's also so important. Without it, where are we going to be?
Right.
And I also like the business side. So it's kind of interesting. I've been really waking up to the fact that you can't do it all necessarily. You shouldn't necessarily do it all.
This is good.
You
I feel
know,
like we both need a mirror right
yes,
now.
we do, for sure. Because when you've done it yourself for so long, you develop a capacity to do it.
Yeah, you're like, I'm not full yet.
Yeah, I'm just going to, sure, everything's good. And it was very similar to when I had the 2 stores, which was a few years ago, and as we were transitioning into our bigger space here in Ossington, that I was losing sight of why I was doing this. I was starting to resent the store a little bit. I was starting to resent, the process. And I think it's important to talk about these things, because at the time I was like, that's not allowed. I'm not supposed to feel that way. This is magical. This is dreamy. Everything's sparkling. Like, and everyone's happy, and like I should be too. But I was just getting burnt out. And I wasn't making, and I wasn't in store, because I was flying back and forth between each store, and clients would be like, I stopped by to see you, you're not there. And I always felt guilty and bad. And so then once we consolidated into the one store, I started to get to reconnect to it again.
Good.
How quickly, 3 years later or 2 years later, I started to feel it again this last year, where we're growing, we have more staff, there's more needed from me as a management and just support. And my days were being filled with administrative stuff. And so I wasn't getting to create. And so surely enough, I went through that same feeling where I went, what's happening here? Why am I not feeling?
Do I feel the same?
Yeah. Like maybe I'm just getting like, maybe it's coming to an end, And then, but then something in my gut was like, no. And
no.
Yeah. And so I started to make some changes. I went away for some sunshine, and
Good.
That always gives you perspective.
It does.
So I can confidently say so clearly now, because that's really been my wake up call, that I am so not done yet. We are not done. There's so much magic to still create. And I'm so thankful to have woken up to that before, it might've been too late, but, that it's, in order for me to keep doing this, I need to create, and I need to be able to connect to these stories. Like, as you say, I get the goosebumps. I'm emotional about it.
Like beaming.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it's all about. Right. And I think it's so important as business owners and as creators I love always the quote that you see, remember why you started. And I think that's like, I need that, like smacking me in the face all the time, because if I just connect to that, it's like that, this is what it's all about, Right. And it's simple. It's not like we offer so many different things now. It's crazy how much we offer,
it's the best.
Yeah, it's amazing. Right. But ultimately the essence of it is just me sitting in my little shop in Kensington, making jewelry, having great conversations with my clients, learning about them, learning about their stories, developing a relationship of trust. Yeah. And for me, if I can, which I'm working really hard to get back to that now. And I'm setting some awesome, routines to be able to actually be in the store a lot more, because why the heck not? That's what it's all about.
It is.
So yeah, I know this is a long-winded answer.
No, it's a very important answer, because I think it rings true to every creative person, every entrepreneur, every person who's like, I want this business to grow, but I can't get rid of another arm.
Totally. And there's so many parts, right? Like, you don't realize until you're in it that there's so many parts: the social media, the accounting, the staffing, and staffing has been a huge part of it, right?
Well, because and that's a big part that a lot of entrepreneurs don't really have to face.
Oh yeah.
So you have a whole nother part of
I have the overhead and the staffing and the thing. Oh yeah. And it's a lot of personalities, and I think when you're a young boss too, and it's a business I'm so passionate about, it's hard to disconnect and like hard to be not emotional when you're also managing your team of people, right? Which thankfully I've had over the years, regardless of any of it's just been a really amazing learning experience. And I've been so blessed at every stage of this business to have staff that really care about this more than just a job. And I've had lots of turnover and lots of different people, but that is truly such an amazing gift as well. So I'll say that for sure. And the team I have right now is magic, and they're allowing me to reconnect to my magic, right? Yeah. So yeah, it's an exciting thing.
It is, yeah.
It'll be exciting to see where it goes.
Agreed. Yeah. We're all watching in the best way. I will say to your point of kind of getting back to those roots, I think when I think of you, I have this vision, because we did meet back when you worked in Kensington. I have this vision of you like through the glass, just working on jewels. So it's funny that that's how I still see you to this day. So it's almost like everyone else still sees you that way, but for you to think, okay, I have to get back to this.
Totally.
And I think a lot of people need to check themselves up sometimes to be like, oh yeah, like that's what used to make me so happy, and that's what pushed me. So yeah, get back to that. Even if you have to give a little bit to get a little bit.
Totally. And that's been the big, that's the big lesson, right? Is releasing some of the control and trusting in people, and realizing that if I'm doing my job properly and training them properly, or just giving them the important things, like, I don't know how to say it really, but just if I'm giving them the tools, and if I'm influencing them in the way that I want to influence them, so that the store is represented in the way that I want it to be represented, then we should be good, you know? And thankfully, we are. And yeah, I think everybody can get caught up in the stuff, and it can be so overwhelming. And I've had many a time where I've been sitting on the floor just like totally having a breakdown, like how am I going to do all this stuff? But those are the moments that make you stronger. And
for sure.
And they're all part of the journey. So yeah, I think.
And what a beautiful journey it is. So where can we find you? Tell us all of the things that Anice does, and then where we can find you online.
Okay. So online, you can find us at anicejewellery.com.
Fantastic.
You can find us on Instagram at Anice Jewellery. I should point out we spell jewelry the Canadian spelling.
Well said. Yes. So, I will tag all of you. Yes, but good to know for just listeners.
So yeah, Instagram, Facebook, and then in store, you can find us at 102 Ossington Ave, right in between Queen and Dundas. Perfect. And all of the things that we offer. How much more time do you have? So no, we are a custom jewelry boutique. We specialize in custom jewelry, and that is what sets us apart the most. The custom jewelry is fine jewelry, as we've talked about with the wedding bands and engagement rings and the Old Treasures New Love, but it's, bringing in old heirlooms for any reason. So bringing in, should I maybe start that again?
No, that was perfect. Okay. Just go for bringing in.
So bringing in old pieces for any reason. So if you have diamond earrings of your mom's that, you want to put into a necklace for you and your sister, or if you have your grandfather's cufflinks and you want to make just a long necklace with a cool pendant.
So cool.
It's like, there's just so many different possibilities. Yep. They continue to pop up, just when I think I've seen it all. So
gifts are endless.
Gifts are endless, you could come here for sure
for every person in your family.
Totally.
8 times over.
Well, and it's so awesome my mission has always been is to inspire you to look at the things you have. So
I love that.
Even if you bought a necklace from H&M like 10 years ago, but the charms are cool. Well, let's make a charm bracelet out of it, or let's use one as a small little pendant. Like, it doesn't have to be super complicated. It can just be so basic. Like, you've kept one dangly earring and you've lost the match to it. That can be a pendant.
You'll rock it.
Totally, right? Like, it's really, you might have an idea of what it is because you've known it as that thing, but when you have one of us look at it and we have no emotional attachment to it, we can suggest so many different things.
Yeah.
So, but what I was saying about the custom being the thing that sets us apart is really the custom on the spot. So you can come into the store and dig through our treasure drawers that are filled with many treasures, like, teardrop gemstones and little baby birthstones and old pieces that we've taken apart and put into our drawers. So cool. And metal tags that you can engrave and have stamped. And the best thing is you can come in and set your budget, and then our jewel babes work with you on designing your piece, because it can be a bit overwhelming. Sometimes people are like, how much?
What do I do?
Yeah, exactly. Like, where do I even begin? And we always just say, just grab stuff that you like, or grab stuff that jumps out at you. for your friend or for whoever you're buying for, or for yourself, and let's make it for you on the spot. It can be all turned around within a half an hour.
It's the best.
So the custom is the biggest part, right, for sure, and my favorite part, I must say. Just because it is so cool to see things come from inception to reality, and to be part of that is just so cool.
Yeah.
And then we also offer workshops, which is a big part of what we do. And the workshops happen in our Anice apartment now. Beautiful. Where we have a big space, so we can have up to about 25 to 30 people if we were to do a really big one. And the workshops are a 2-hour session where we teach you how to do a wire wrapping technique that we do on most of our pieces.
So cool.
So fun. And you don't have to have any jewelry experience to do it. We take you through a practice round, and then we allow you to go digging through the treasure drawers as we do with the custom. And then we go through the technique again with you on your pieces,
and you really do, like, I've been lucky enough to watch, and the workshops are very hands-on. Like you're sitting there with the tray, which I always see Britt with, and I'm like, wow, they get to actually do this.
Yeah.
And then they walk away with a piece they literally made.
It's such an awesome thing to be able
really
to
cool.
say, because I really feel that everyone who makes a piece here ends up getting compliments on it. Like, whether it be that it's the most beautiful piece or the energy that you put into it, you're going to have somebody comment on it, and then you get to say, I made it.
Yeah.
So that's so fun.
Which is the best. Yeah.
And then we do those workshops in themes. So we do a lot of bachelorette parties where we serve wine, we serve food. You can bring in your own catering. I mean, with this dream upstairs space now, you can really just have it for the night.
You could have it
as well.
This would be amazing.
Yeah, it's a great party space.
Little bachelorette, just like
Yes.
all the little fancy drinks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I could
Absolutely.
see this.
Yeah. I mean, you can decorate it however you want. It's really customizable that way.
Yeah.
So yeah, the workshops are really special, and we are introducing a few new ones coming up with beading workshops. We're bringing in beaded bracelets and beading necklace workshops with stone meanings.
Wow.
As well as teaching you how to do the stamping as well.
Oh,
so
wow.
hammering the letters into the metal as well.
That's so great, and that's super popular.
So popular.
Yes.
Personalization is like everything these days.
The last thing I do want to ask is, you mentioned grandmother, so I want to talk about just Anice and what it means.
For sure. So Anice is my grandmother. And when I named my company for her, I didn't have any idea the tribute that it would really be. It was just a no-brainer. And it's been such an honor to be able to share this journey with her, as she's still hanging out back in Edmonton, wearing all of her ridiculously huge earrings.
Sweetest.
Yes. She just inspired me through my life. She's been such a jewelry lover, and I feel that I came by it naturally by watching her in all of her glamour. But also just in terms of what I wanted the meaning of my company to represent, in terms of that, just daring to express yourself. She's just always inspired me to be me and be unapologetically me. And so if I can instill that in what we're doing here every day, then that's such an amazing thing. And so that's really where this all comes from with her. And it's been such an added amazing gift to work with so many clients on pieces from their grandmothers and really connect that way.
Because it's funny, every time you said people bringing in pieces, you always mentioned grandmother.
Yeah.
And I was like,
we do get a lot of different sources.
Sweet.
But
No, I know. I just kept thinking, oh, that's really sweet that you resonate it with.
I think my eyes light up a little bit extra when someone says, this is my grandmother's. I'm like, cool.
You brought it to the right place.
So special. Yeah, for sure.
Really amazing. Yeah. Well, thank you, Britt, for just being always just awe-inspiring.
Thank you.
And for having a space to let people be themselves and express themselves through jewelry.
Thank you so
And I hope everyone comes here and just gets all the beautiful jewels. Just come in and you'll be like, oh, okay, yep, I get it. I get it now.
Oh,
amazing. Thank you for chatting.
Thank you for having me.
Amazing.
So
we'll have you on again to
anytime.
chat about something.
All the time.
Okay, amazing. Thanks, Britt.
Thank you.
Bye.